We're talking high school football and recruiting. And one of the things about 2021 recruiting class, a lot of obstacles with COVID-19. One of those young men who had to go through those obstacles, Brian Shane, quarterback out of Kettering Alder High School. And Brian's joining us today to talk about his commitment to a college. And first off, Brian, I want to welcome you and congratulate you on going through this process.
Thank
but
you.
Talk about going through this process and the obstacles that COVID made for you guys, make it very hard to get colleges to take notice of you.
Yes, it definitely was a lot different of a year. It was different playing with all the protocols and no fans and obviously all that. So it was a lot different there. And then recruiting, definitely harder than I think what a normal year would be. But, I just kept at it and just kept building relationships with the coaches I'd been talking to and new coaches. And yes.
Brian's a 6'3", 200-pound. We can call him a quarterback. You can call him an athlete, in my opinion. He's a young man who, as a junior, played more wide receiver. As a senior year, was the quarterback for the Knights, who had a very successful year. But colleges were looking at you more at that receiver spot. And talk about, playing the multiple positions. How did that help you in recruiting? And how maybe did it hurt you in recruiting?
I think it definitely helped me because it got me playing a bunch of different positions. It got more film out there and just showcased the different skills and whatnot that I can do. So I think it definitely helped me. Definitely kind of hurt me too because I didn't have enough film at one position because I was splitting it between multiple different positions. But I think overall it was a good thing. It showed got to show coaches I was versatile and could do different stuff with football. And that's what a lot of coaches told me. They said, "Hey, I like how you had the ball in your hands a lot. So just playing different positions, it really showed them my versatility."
Brian's another one of those young men that we always talk about academics being an important part of this process. And he's one of those guys that took it serious, had a lot of high academic schools recruiting him. And Brian, talk about the pride you take in being also not just a athlete, but a true student athlete.
Well, like you said, it's a student athlete. The student part comes first. So all my life, I've always just prided myself on getting good grades and trying hard in my classes and all that. And you hear people say all the time, "Oh, with recruiting and everything, you got to have the academics." And I don't think a lot of people really, like including me at first, really understood that. But the further I got along in the process, I realized how important that is. And with finding schools and making sure you're able to get in and all that. And it just opens up a whole another door of possibilities.
You came down to a couple schools, but you've made a decision. Where will Brian Shane be taking his talents?
I'll be playing at Miami next year.
Talk about, when you coming down and making that choice. I know just here a few days ago, head coach Chuck Martin reached out to you, offered you the possibility of being a preferred walk-on at the program, something that they're very picky about. But talk about the conversations you've had with the Miami coaching staff and head coach Chuck Martin.
Well, I went to a camp there last year, so I got to meet all the coaches in person and talk with them. And I've been communicating with a couple of coaches over the past year or so. And then it was great talking to Coach Martin. He's a really cool guy. I'm really excited to be able to play for him. And it was a great conversation.
Dave Lapham here, and every day I am grateful for my experience to have played professional football. As a player, I realize self-motivation, leadership, and appreciating your teammates are key. At First Star Logistics, you can use those same attributes to create the life you want for you and your family. Build your future by working hard like I did. You'll see results both on and off the field. Call First Star Logistics today and be part of our winning team.
And how hard was the decision? Because, you won. I'm sure you got some pressure because what I know of you, you have some family members who are Miami grads, but you were also trying to keep things and look at all aspects of it. And how hard of a decision was this?
When I first started the whole recruiting process, I thought it would have been, a really hard decision to make. But I think towards the end, it just became apparent that Miami was going to be the place. And both my parents went there. I had a sister that went there. So my family's very familiar with Miami. And growing up, I've always been we've been eating lunch there and going over there. I've been to a couple games over the years. So definitely a thing that runs in my family. Definitely a hard choice, but I think it was the right one. And that became pretty apparent the past couple of days.
And let's talk about how the RedHawks are going to use your talents on the field as you get into the program.
with the conversations I've had with coaches, they've been saying at first I'm probably going to start off at receiver playing on the outside. And then as I start to gain weight, kind of move into a tight end role.
And that's something, having talked to you before through the recruiting process, that you had no problem accepting.
Yes.
So what advice would you give other people going through this process? Because even though right now it's been able to end for you, we're still, as a country, going through COVID. It's still affecting maybe, guys who are still out there in the 2021 recruiting class, but also it might affect guys in the next recruiting class as well. So what advice would you give people?
I'd say just keep reaching out to coaches, keep trying to build good relationships, and just don't give up. Like at times it's hard. It's definitely a rough process to go through. It's long. It's frustrating at times, but definitely just stay in it, not give up, and just keep trying to find every possibility that you think you could see what schools you could be yourself being at.
We're here on the First Star Football Report, sponsored by First Star Logistics, talking high school football and recruiting with Kettering Alder quarterback, soon to be Miami RedHawk, Brian Shane. And Brian, as we continue this conversation, talk about your days at Alter, what they mean to you as you're a multi-sport athlete. We talked about the COVID stuff. You were affected greatly because you also on the basketball team, and last year's team was one of the best teams in the state. Many people thought could win a state title, and it was taken away from you guys being able to advance to the state finals. Mm-hmm. Talk about, what your days at Alder mean to you.
Oh, I think they mean everything. I know 30, 40, 50 years from now, I'm going to look back and realize that some of my best times in life and some of the best memories I had were made on the football field and basketball court at Alter and just in the school in general. It's a great place. I love being there. And like you said, with basketball, we made it pretty far in the playoffs, and we were supposed to play again, and we got our season ended due to COVID. So that was obviously pretty frustrating. But I think overall it's been a really fun time being at Alter, and I couldn't imagine myself being at any other high school. You
talk about being another sport. I know this year, again, the challenge is not only football. Talk about you play for a head coach, Ed Domsites, in football, who's a coaching legend in Ohio, had great success, has a particular offense he likes to run. And a lot of people say, hey, that's, maybe not the best offense for someone looking to get recruited to play college football, but year after year, several guys go on and play college football. What about that discipline of playing for a coach like Ed Domsites?
Well, I think that's exactly what it is. Yeah, the offense, it's not, we run the wishbone. It's not real glamorous or flashy or anything, but we move the ball, we score, we win, it gets the job done. So, but I think it's getting recruited out of an offense like that. It's more about like you said, the discipline that comes along with playing in the wishbone and just the hard work and everything that we do at Alter. I think it's one of the hardest work ethics in not only in the Dayton area, but in the state. And I think it's just the discipline and hard work and everything that goes into the program up there at Alter.
Brian, let's let RedHawk fans know a little bit more about you as a player. Talk about the areas you feel you need to work on as far as your game, and what areas you feel right now are the strengths to your game.
Well, I think some of my strengths I have is I'm pretty good at catching the ball, and I feel like I'm pretty talented when I have the ball in my hands. And another thing I think I do pretty good at that's kind of overlooked is I don't really fumble that much. I don't think I've ever really fumbled in my career, so that's important to hold on to the ball. But some things I think I need to work on, obviously getting bigger, gaining weight, getting stronger, so I can be a more physical blocker on the inside, playing tight end, and that even on the outside, blocking as a receiver. And I think also just getting faster. So getting bigger and stronger and faster opens up a world of possibilities, being able to play tight end receiver.
So we're going to go a little bit of a kind of a Q&A, quick, I don't know what you want to call it, fast questions, fast answers. I want you to think of the first things that come to your head.
Okay.
Wishbone offense.
Power.
Kettering Alder.
Talented.
Ed Domsites.
The greatest coach in Ohio.
What are you streaming right now? Are you a Netflix guy? Are you an Amazon video guy? What do you stream?
Netflix.
And what's your number one passion as far as a show you stream that just grabs you?
I'd have to say Last Chance U.
What is it about Last Chance U that has grabbed your attention? Have you seen every season so far?
Yes.
So what is it about Last Chance U, other than being football,
Yes.
that's grabbed your attention?
I think it's just cool to see the ins and outs of JUCO football, which you don't get to see a whole lot, and just kind of the stories that some of the players have that they're going through, the stuff they're going through, and how they're able to persevere all that and still be successful in football and life and academics.
If I went to your phone and looked at what music you have on your phone, what's probably the most dominant stuff you're listening to?
Probably rap and country.
Any particular artist?
I don't know. I get this question a lot. Like, what's your favorite artist? And I think it's too hard to choose. Like, all of them are too different to really compare.
So you mentioned two different genres when you get into rap and country.
Yes.
Which one's the top one?
Probably rap.
So are you more hardcore rap? You more of a dance beat rap? What type of rap do you listen to?
Just anything that makes me kind of gets me in a good mood. And obviously a lot of it's good for pregame music, gets you fired up for games. So I like that kind of music.
So I know you have older siblings.
Yes.
Sisters.
Yes.
What would if I went to them and said, "Tell me about your kid brother," what would they say?
I think they would say he's a hard worker. I think they get annoyed when I don't put the toilet seat down. But I think overall, I think they'd say I'm a hard worker and I get a little annoying at times with them.
We've been talking with Brian Shane, Kettering Alder quarterback, athlete who has just recently committed to Miami and will be going down to Oxford to play for head coach Chuck Martin and the RedHawks. And Brian, we appreciate you taking the time and being here with us on First Star Football Report, sponsored by First Star Logistics.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.